from 2004. So this came out 6 years after the Bride. Seed of Chucky. Fuck this movie. This is my number 8.
Number 7.
See, we do agree sometimes. This is my... I can't believe you put it higher than Bride.
And I am anticipating that.
We'll get to the reason.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Fuck this movie. I have no positives.
Right.
Nothing good to say. This is literally, we're swapping roles here now. I'm going to do the plot, and then I'm going to tell you, and then I want to know what the one reason is, or your positives here. Okay. So I've got... Do you like Freddy's Dead, or in Mark's case, Halloween Resurrection? Then have we got a movie for you. It opens with the worst opening credit sequence in the series to date. So a series known for its awesome credit sequences. No, let's ruin it. We've got CGI sperm swimming down a CGI birth canal, fertilizing an egg.
Yep.
Seemingly, this is Chucky's sperm fertilizing Tiffany's egg.
Yep.
Oh, no, bad. You're going... Freddy's dead, folks. Freddy's dead. This is where we're at. It's worth mentioning, so let's talk about the ending of Bride. So the end of Bride, Chucky gets killed. He just gets like unceremoniously shot, and then Tiffany, she's like gets like roasted at one point, and you think she's dead, and then it's like the aftermath, and I don't remember who walks up to her.
One of the
like
detectives.
Yeah, it's like a cop walks up to her, and so. In the movie, Mark alluded to this, Tiffany and Chucky fuck, like while on the road trip.
Yep.
It's like 24 hours later, and Tiffany not only is pregnant, she conceives a child.
Right.
So
are they real inside or not? Because if they're
that's the stinger. Yeah. So the stinger of this of Bride is the very end, and I hate this. I hate this stinger because it's so unnecessary. It's such a setup. It's like. He's already gotten blended apart. He just gets shot at the end of this movie. It's like, oh, please, you could shake that shit off, no problem. Right. They're like, that's nothing. So like, it seems so forced. Of like, and I didn't know where they were gonna go with this. Of like they gave birth to a new Chucky, I guess. Like, are they just gonna like is Tiffany dead now? Are they just we're gonna follow this new Chucky? We got answers. Not good.
None of them are good.
No, we got answers though. So. Tiffany gives birth to a doll, and it looks kind of like a mini Chucky, and it's just like, and then like that's the end of Bride. That's how that ends. So then we're going back to Seed here. We get after the shitty opening credit sequence, we get this extended scene, and it's like a POV shot of some little British girl getting a doll for a gift, where the camera is actually the doll's POV.
Yep.
It's kind of clever. I don't know. It's kind of cool seeing this because you see like this little doll's POV running around the house. The doll like runs around and murders everyone in the house before coming face to face with the little girl. And then the doll pisses its pants. And you're like, like what? The doll wakes up to reveal Glenn, our new androgynous protagonist in the series. They are the child of Chucky and Tiffany. And he's immediately grabbed by so like that weird little baby, that was Glenn. Right. He's immediately grabbed, I'm going to say he while it's Glenn, because later on it's Glenda, but for now it's Glenn. And then they become they, right? But they're grabbed by some like rocker looking guy. And he like brings them on stage do you remember where they are? It's so stupid. Where are they? Like what is the event? It's the dumbest thing.
I can't remember.
They are at a ventriloquist competition.
Okay, I didn't catch that.
It seems like, so at first you're like, is this a rock show? No. While it looks like a rock show, it's apparently a ventriloquist competition, like some international ventriloquist competition. And of course, Glenn is alive, so it's very easy to make it look like you're doing a ventriloquist act when the doll can just talk freely, right? And this guy's like getting a standing ovation. They are in England.
Right.
England. Like London, England. How did we get here? What? We get narration of Glenn, and it's revealed he has a British accent.
I don't know much about myself. I know I'm an orphan. I know I'm a freak. And of course, I know that I'm Japanese. But why do I have such terrible nightmares?
Why? Why? This is a movie about dumb decisions.
Right.
All of them were bad. None of them were good. Literally, all of them were bad. In my opinion. Maybe you disagree.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't,
yeah.
but he has no memory of his identity. And he was apparently, so it's like, how the fuck did we get to London, England? Like, who is this rocker guy? Where are we? What the fuck is going on? It turns out that like the British guy, like you found out this through like Glenn's narration. He just happened to, after the aftermath of Bride, this British guy was in the United States at this cemetery at the exact moment that Tiffany gave birth. And he just like found the Glenn doll just like in the cemetery. Like, why would the police not have that? Wasn't it the cop that walked in on like what? Like my head.
Freddy's nightmares.
Okay, whatever. We then cut to a guy in a Santa Claus costume walking in a snowy cemetery. He spots a Chucky doll sitting on the ground, and it looks exactly like this Chucky doll. It's like the scarred Chucky doll. And he walks up to the doll, and just then, Tiffany comes up behind him, and the two dolls kill Santa Claus. But wait, there's a twist. It's actually a film set where they're filming the meta movie, Chucky Goes Psycho. Because this movie, Seed of Chucky, has a movie within a movie.
Right.
About making a Chucky movie. We then see Jennifer Tilly, as in the real life actor Jennifer Tilly, who's playing a version of herself.
It's great when some franchises do it. Not so great when this one does it.
What other franchise did this and pulled up? No.
Like Nightmare
Shut
on
the
Elm
fuck
Street.
It's great when none of this. It's never great. When you
nail the meta, it's perfect.
Never go meta. Okay, you know what it is? Never go full meta. Never go full meta. You can do some meta references and some meta dialogue. Never go full meta. Don't ever go full meta. Okay.
Sometimes it's okay to go full meta.
Nope. Full meta jacket. Okay, Glenn is watching TV and just so happens to see a special about the behind the scenes making of the Psycho Goes Chucky movie. And he sees that the Chucky doll in the special has a print on his wrist that says "Made in Japan." And Glenn has the exact same print. Fuck you. But I'll get back to that point. Glenn runs away from his captor and jumps into the back of a garbage truck. And we cut to a map showing Glenn's miraculous journey to Hollywood, California, where they're filming the movie. So Glenn has now somehow magically gone to the States. Sure. It's like 2 seconds. It's like... It's like a cartoon. Yeah, it's like, oh, now he's just in the States. He just made it there. And that evil ventriloquist guy at the beginning, he is now a new returning villain in the franchise. He will become a staple of the franchise going forward. His name is Jared. He is a recurring character. This is very important. No, I'm just making all this shit up. He's never mentioned again, folks. So can I ask the obvious question? Why the fuck were we in London? Why was that necessary? Why the fuck were we like, if that character is never referenced again, why set this up in London? Why give Glenn a British accent? Why do all these dumb fucking things? Did you know that this film is the first film directed by Don Mancini?
Oh.
He did not direct any of the other ones. He wrote them. This is the first one he actually directed.
Yeah.
So that means Mancini was like, all of these are the
This is good.
This is the good stuff.
No one's going to overturn this idea.
Okay, so Glenn makes it to California. He reunites with his parents who are inanimate. They're dead. In fact, they are not the Chucky and Tiffany dolls from the series. they of course would have been dead and gone into police. So Tiffany did die at the end of Bride,
Yep.
and so did Chucky. These are replicas made for the new production. Okay? But Glenn happens to have the heart of Damballa, that convenient fucking thing that they established in Bride, right? And on the back, it's now revealed, it couldn't be any easier to do voodoo because all you have to do is just say the words and it does exactly what you want it to do. Because he has why does he have the medallion? Why? Like, Chucky had it, and I'm pretty sure it was in Chucky's hand when he gets shot and he's like in the grave. Tiffany, I don't think, had it. So why did Glenn end up with it? Fuck you. Fuck all of these things. So saying fuck you to Mark. Mark didn't make this movie, but,
I'm happy that you had the experience with this one that I had with Bride.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, okay. So then he looks on the back of the medallion and it like conveniently has the voodoo words to say. And he just like awkwardly says them and then it just does exactly what it needs to do. It somehow brings back both Chucky and Tiffany, both them, and puts them in the right bodies just from him saying like 3 words. So now their souls, the actual souls, are in the bodies of the replica for the movie, the props, basically the prop dolls, which look exactly like, anyways. Then Glenn, because then immediately they wake up and they're like, who the fuck is this guy? And then Glenn reveals that he is in fact their child. And he does this by holding up his arm, and he shows that he has the made in Japan, and immediately Chucky holds up his arm and it says made in Japan. They never reference this at any other point in the
Never
series.
see it before.
No, only in this one. It's the thorn.
Yeah.
This is the thorn tattoo where it's like, oh no, he always had that tattoo. You just never looked there.
Again, it's very convenient, right?
Yeah, right. Of course. The other thing, like, again, questioning logic. Glenn was born. He wasn't made. Why does he have that tattoo? No, I want you to tell me. I need you to tell
Don
me.
Mancini.
Yeah. Okay. So then Chucky and Tiffany debate Glenn's sex, and they pull down Glenn's pants to reveal they have a Barbie bottom, which is kind of a lame joke. And it kind of contradicts 4, because in Bride of Chucky, they obviously had, like, Chucky obviously had a cock.
Yep.
And Tiff obviously had a vag because they fucked and Tiff gave birth, right? So how does Glenn have nothing? Like, I know why they did it.
Yep.
Because we are now introduced to the series' first trans character.
See? What did I tell you? A beautiful little girl.
What? Are you blind? That's my boy. Yeah. He just hasn't had his growth spurt yet. Don't worry about it, son. You're a late bloomer, that's all.
So they make Glenn trans by doing this. And Chucky decides that Glenn is his son, and he goes with Glenn. And Tiffany goes with, decides that this is her daughter, and goes with Glenda, a reference to an Ed Wood film called Glenn or Glenda.
Yep.
Cool. So now Chucky and Tiffany have made it to Hollywood, and they're not going to pass up this opportunity to be celebrity royalty. They hatch a plan for Tiffany to possess Jennifer Tilly's body and Chucky to possess rapper Redman's body. And I was really worried you were going to love this movie because I was like, man, Resurrection had Busta Rhymes. I was like, this has Redman. I'm like, Mark has a history of liking these just so stupid, they're stupid movies. Thank God Reason came to you. But that's the plan. And while this is... why is Redman in the movie? Redman is filming some Bible movie that Jennifer Tilly wants a part in. And that's why he's there. That's it. He serves no other purpose. It's not like, at least in the Resurrection, Busta Rhymes actually was... He basically made the plot happen.
Yep. He was the actual character in the story.
Right. Yeah, right. That's basically the plot. Wacky hijinks ensue as Glenn, Chucky and Tiffany try to hatch their plan to take for the parents to get the bodies of Jennifer Tilly and Redman. Fuck this movie. No, okay. I'm sorry. I lied. I said I have no positive. I have one positive. Let me say my one positive. At this point, because you talked about this in 3, because you were like, at this point, the ritual failed. Like in 3. Why not just, he's a killer doll now?
Yep.
Like that's his thing.
Ride it out.
Why even try to get a new body? Like, why have the Tyler bullshit? How about he's just trying to get revenge on Andy, right? Finally, Chucky embraces his new persona. He says he finally has a change of heart, and he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't need a new body. He's like, you know what? He says, I am Chucky, the killer doll. And I dig it.
As a doll, I'm fucking infamous. I'm one of the most notorious slashers in history, and I don't want to give that up. I am Chucky, the killer doll, and I dig it.
Yeah.
I like that. It's the only moment I liked where it's like, you know what? Finally, Chucky's just like, all right, fine. I'm a killer doll. This has advantages. I still get to fucking kill people. I'm still a murderous sociopath. Who cares? Like, this is so over the top because at one point Chucky even says, he's like, look how fucked up this is. Like, what are we doing? Like, who cares anymore? I liked that. That's it. Go on.
So I guess what I'll start with is how I came to determine that this one would be ranked higher on my list, right? So I have this as 7.
So Mark likes Glenn. That's what this is.
That's it.
There's no way. There's no way.
No.
I knew. I was like, you are going to hate Glenn.
There are 2 reasons why I put this one very slightly above number 8. So first of all, both of these movies are an absolute disaster. Right. And I cannot forgive either one. There are 2 reasons why I gave this one the slight edge. One, Jennifer Tilly really leans into this one. I kind of like the idea that she understands that her career is kind of not the greatest, like the real Jennifer Tilly, and she allowed the filmmakers, the creative team to kind of play with that. She takes a lot of self-referential digs. I'm not a big Jennifer Tilly fan, like I mentioned for the previous one, but I thought in this one, going a little bit over the top, having a little bit of fun with her was okay. Like, I'm like, whatever. So, somebody's got to be committed to this movie and try to put something into it. Right.
So let's go off on that. Yeah. The Jennifer Tilly. I hate it. Yeah. I don't like. I like her as the character Tiffany. Yeah. Her playing Jennifer Tilly. I get it, but I hate when they try for lame meta angle. Fuck off.
Yeah, I hate it too.
It's just. I get that she's trying. I know what she's trying to do. Where she's trying to just be like, I'm going to play a caricature of myself and I'm going to be self-deprecating. Yep. I get that, but it's just boring to me. Yep. And she's like, okay, she's rude to her assistant and she has a plot to she plans to sleep with Redman just to get a part. So she's playing a sleazy version of herself, and it's very obviously it's comical and over the top, and the real Jennifer Tilly's not like this in real, obviously, but it's just it doesn't add much. She's not a good protagonist. And for all intents and purposes, she's basically our main character.
So, how do I look? Never mind.
Jennifer, this is beneath you.
Think about what you're doing.
What are people gonna say?
Who cares what people say?
But don't you see how evil this is?
I don't want to hear it.
You're prostituting yourself so you can play the Virgin Mary.
Joan, I don't want to hear it.
Oh, this is so evil. You're going to hell.
No, hell would be ending up on Celebrity Fear Factor in a worm-eating contest with Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, kind of.
In the movie, and that's not fun. She's not interesting at all because she's playing a caricature of herself. So it's like, if she was just a little part of the movie, it might have worked. But half the movie, you're following this shithead version of Jennifer Tilly. And I'm like, I'm not rooting for you. So I don't care what happens to you. I'm not really rooting for Chucky and Tiffany either. So there's just no stakes. This is just things happening.
Right.
And getting into just to shit on the meta angle again. Okay, so they hyped this up at the beginning. They are filming a Chucky movie. and it's never referenced again.
Right. Yeah.
Did they just forget they were filming a Chucky movie? Like there's a better example of this. I think it's Scream 3, and I'm not a huge fan of those movies. Scream 3, they're filming a Scream film, which I can't remember what it's called in that series. I think it might actually be Slash. Maybe. No, Stab. Sorry, Stab. They're filming Stab 3 in Scream 3. And almost the entire movie takes place on the studio lot. That is how if you're gonna do this, do it.
Nope, it was used for one jump scare and one redirect, and that was it.
That was it. It's so like they didn't even use the thing they had. They didn't do.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only other thing about this one that puts it slightly higher is that and you just did your Simpsons rankings with Kevin.
Yep.
Insert the GIF of stop beating him. He's already dead. By the time I got to this movie, I didn't care. Bride had already ruined.
Yeah, see
this for me.
Okay, so now it's a little unfair because you're like Bride broke me first, so that's why this one.
I'm like it didn't
hurt as much.
It's probably the worst. It's probably the lesser movie, but by then I was like, you're not taking something that I appreciate and damaging.
It was a lesser blow. It was a lesser blow. Yeah, right. Kind of like how you liked Resurrection. This is no, because that's actually because Resurrection came late in the franchise, so it kind of made sense. Where Resurrection, where you were like, at this point, who cares?
You're not damaging something that
right.
Yeah,
but
again, Halloween already had enough entries though to be able to stand on its own with what it had. This franchise did not. Right. So yeah,
but it certainly thought it did.
But understand though, like Bride and Seed can be. If I could pick like 2 8s and no 7. Yeah. Then I would do that.
To remove them.
Right. Just have 2 last place and no second last place.
Where again did you have part 1 was your number 2, right?
That's right.
Okay. Thank God.
Yeah.
I was really worried you were going to pull a fucking Halloween again where you're like, all of the new ones are all the top and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go I have no, it's go into your negatives because I'll just jump off what you got. I got like two big ones.
It was really hard to hear the voice of Pippin from Lord of the Rings.
That's who plays Glenn?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who cares? Okay, well, let's get to Glenn.
Yeah.
Let's do Glenn.
Yeah.
Okay, because Glenn, I have a lot to say about Glenn. Glenn sucks.
What was the point of Glenn? Was it just to be able to have a...
So now we have so you kind of nailed this with Bride, where you were like, okay, so now we have 2 Chucky dolls. So now we have 3 Chucky dolls.
Right.
But one of them sucks.
Doesn't even want to kill.
Right,
so what are you even here for?
So Glenn, the design, say what you will about having 2 Chucky dolls in Bride, at least Tiffany was a doll that complemented Chucky.
Yeah.
Like it was a cool looking design with the wedding. She had like the black fingernails and like the eyeliner, and she has like the wedding dress, but she's also wearing like a leather jacket. Right. She's like it was a cool character design, Despite what you might feel about the character, I think you would agree the design was pretty good.
Yeah.
Glenn's design is it's almost I think it is intentionally meant to make you not like it. Like he's pale.
Yeah.
He's like it's this pale ugly design. He's so weird looking.
Yeah.
Like he just looks like it's a horrible design. And touch on the voice, it's this effeminate whining voice
filled with hate and blood and guts. I'm not like that at all. I wouldn't even hurt a fly. Oh, there he goes.
He's just such a wuss. Why?
Yeah. I mean, it just seems to work against everything that the franchise has built up so far. You've got this character that's not aggressive, doesn't want to kill, tries to get his parents to stop killing. I'm like, okay, but then why are we here? Like,
right.
what is the point of this? Right.
And he's like a coward.
Yeah.
Like at one point he just like screams at like he pisses his pants when he gets scared. Cool.
But I mean the baby that flew out of the doll at the end of Bride was definitely not
Glenn.
Yeah.
No, they obviously made some. Well,
I mean, that one wanted to kill everything.
Right. Well, that one looked like a mini Chucky, whereas this, I don't know exactly. It's like okay. So I want to make something clear. I don't care that Glenn is a trans character.
Yeah.
Let me be clear about that. I'm not being transphobic at all. That doesn't bother me at all. you can have cool trans characters. This character just sucks. That's the problem.
Yep.
It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, I think people are going to be like, no, I like Glenn because of the whole trans. Like,
Sure.
maybe you like Glenn because of that.
Right.
But Glenn's not a cool character. It doesn't matter. It could be Glenn or Glenda.
Yep.
The character sucks. The design sucks. The voice sucks. They're not interesting. They're not integral to the plot.
Yeah.
They're not fun to watch. Like, nothing is good about this character. So that's why I don't like this character.
Yeah, and we've had franchises before that have tried to address social issues, right? Like Nightmare on Elm Street 5, the sort of the pro-choice, pro-life, part 2 with his sexuality, and there's part 5 didn't really do it very well because they only kind of spent 30 seconds talking about it. Part 2, on the other hand, did it very well because they kind of made it an undertone of the whole story, right? This one, I just kind of feel like it's okay if you want to address that. I know Don Mancini, he's openly gay man.
Gay.
Yep.
And,
These groups of people need representation too. But I almost kind of felt like if you are a trans person, do you find that this represents you very well?
Like this weird.
Are you happy with this?
Yeah, this weird wussy scaredy cat character
That doesn't motivate the plot or anything. Like
No.
it's not. Yeah.
It's poor. To me, it's like a poor representation.
Right.
It's just like it's terrible. At one point, Glenn does like a Glenda persona. It's right at the end of the movie where like Glenn finally snaps and then like is doing it's supposed to be like his female persona, Glenda, and he looks like she is now like Tiffany, the Glenda, like she.
Right.
That could have been something. Maybe that should have been the character of the whole movie. I don't know. It's a hell of a lot better than the Glenn bullshit because Glenda is just like a stone cold killer and like a little very maniacal. But at the same time, I'm just like, it's too far. It's too late in the movie. They don't do enough with it. It's not enough to redeem it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Mark's just like, yes,
Yep.
yes. What else do you got there?
Yeah, I guess it just the whole idea that they have taken this from being primarily a horror movie franchise to being just a tongue-in-cheek.
Well, so
jokes.
that's it. This one is Freddy's Dead. This is Halloween Resurrection. This is just full comedy, but it's not good comedy even. Like part 4, I know it didn't work for you. Some of the comedy lands for me. I like some of the jokes.
But it stayed a horror movie all the way. Like Freddy was still stalking people and killing them.
I'm talking about, sorry. Bride. I was talking about Bride.
Yeah.
Bride.
Sorry.
Bride is still, there's a horror movie, it is, but like.
It seemed more slapstick.
It is. It definitely is. But this one just goes full comedy.
Yeah.
Like full comedy. Like John Waters.
Yeah.
So apparently John Waters, who's also openly gay, John Waters, and Mancini are apparently friends, and he also loves the Chucky movies, so he like desperately wanted to be in it. He has the coolest kill. The coolest kill in the movie is his kill with the acid melting his face, but like his character. Everyone in this movie
not
sucks.
Enough to,
everyone in this movie sucks.
I have a note here. So we have a quick release sex joke, a doll masturbation setup, and a doll boob flash, all in one 30-second scene.
Yeah, they show Tiff's tits.
All in 30 seconds.
Yeah. I wonder if I have to blur Tiffany's tits, because technically it's a doll.
Now, in artificial insemination, timing is everything, so you'll have to hurry. That shouldn't be a problem for you.
Yeah, just don't let that player get into her pants. I don't want him touching my woman till I'm him and you're her.
Right.
Hey, aren't you gonna give me a hand here?
YouTube, will this bother you? Let's find out.
Did you get to see it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, how far has this franchise fallen? Just terrible. What else? The Britney Spears. Like, stop. Like, there was the reference to Britney Spears, but it's not actually her. But like, I mean, again, it's just
lame topical
references to try to be relevant. Like those kinds of things age so badly too, right?
You know what this felt like? It actually felt like a scary movie.
Right.
Like that's what it felt. And those were becoming big at that time. Because I don't even know when the first scary movie came out. Maybe like 2002?
Maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But like it felt like one of those. Like this movie feels like a parody of itself, but that sucks.
You don't parody yourself. Somebody else does that.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I get into another big criticism?
Sure.
Can I get into some continuity / logic issues? I think you'll appreciate these. And I think I mean, the obvious thing is the movie obviously sucks. Justin, why are you who cares? Why are you reading up on this thing? No, because I want to make it real clear how much it sucks.
Yeah.
How bad things are set up. Mancini wrote and directed. This is your baby. You know the franchise. I think he wrote all of the movies. Yet you have all these continuity issues that you created for no reason. Okay, so the problems start immediately. The logic issues. They're making a new film called Chucky Goes Psycho, right? Why do the dolls they make for the new movie, the meta movie, look exactly like Tiffany and scarred Chucky?
Right.
Why would they look like that?
Who even knows that?
How would you? Yeah. Okay, so let's say you wouldn't you design it to look like a good guy? Right. And maybe you would maybe it would look like that, like kind of an evil, or like part 3, like wouldn't it look like an evil good guy? Why the fuck would it look like the scarred version? Did you get police photos of the crime scene at Bride?
Right.
That's a stretch. Tiffany's doll. How would you know what that looks like? Because Tiffany got caught on fire at the end of Bride, if you recall. Yeah. She was charred. No one would know what that doll looked like. But yet, the doll looks exactly the same. Okay. What else do I got here? Okay. Yeah, right at the beginning, another logic issue. So, they set this up in the first fucking movie. What does John tell Chucky? He says, the longer you remain in the body,
the more human you become, right?
Right.
Yep.
But from this point on in the franchise, the second your soul goes into the doll, you are now instantly
full on.
It's full on. You're instantly it's instantly human form. It was rushed a little bit in Bride, not too bad. Like it was within a couple days, but which is in line with the first movie. It only takes place over a couple days. But in this one, it's instant. So this one of the guys on set, like one of the stage, like set hands, whatever. The guy, one of the technical guys, he goes. So like Glenn has now resurrected. He's put the soul of Tiffany and Chucky into the prop bodies, and he goes to like remove the back plate on Tiffany to do some adjustments, and he opens it up, and it's like a fleshy interior. There's no battery compartment. So they broke their own logic. Right. Remember in part 2, when Chucky was pretending to be Tommy, what does Andy do?
Checks the batteries.
It's the first fucking thing he does. Was it a fleshy back or was it a battery compartment? It was still a battery compartment because he hadn't fully become all fleshy yet. That takes time. It had been a couple days. Okay.
The first movie takes place in Chicago, and now suddenly it's New Jersey. I don't know if you caught that. As far as where Charles Lee Ray is killed.
Oh, they changed the like
why?
But
they don't. Yeah,
but it's such a point. I don't even know that. So it's like what does that matter?
Right.
It's like who cares? And obviously that's what they thought because I didn't.
Nobody's gonna catch
I didn't
that.
catch it. Yeah, I didn't catch that at all. Okay, Glenn's voodoo ritual. Why would that work? He just says a couple words. There's no intent behind it.
Remember, they've already devalued their own
with Tiffany, right? But this is devalued even further, where it's like he doesn't even know what he's saying. He has no intent in it. How would that ritual work? In that, like, okay, let's say he's able to activate a voodoo ritual, right? But there's no with this is going to sound really nerdy, but with magic, there's supposed to be intent.
Right.
You have to visualize what you're supposed to be trying to conjure. Glenn never met his parents. So how does he know what souls he's imagining are being brought back from the other world, right? He wouldn't. How does he know how is he able to bring 2 of them back? How does he bring them back in the right bodies?
You give this too much credit to think that these concerns are so far down the road. They can't even get like the look right. They're not even going to be concerned about something like that.
No, they obviously don't. No. The made in Japan fucking thing. This is a big thing in the movie where it's like, Glenn has a made in Japan thing, and so does Chucky.
Yeah.
Okay. Where were the Chucky dolls made? Because it certainly wasn't fucking Japan.
Right.
Where were they made?
Well, they were 5 minutes away from the from the foster house, apparently. Which
That's right.
Yeah.
They were fucking made in the U.S. of A.
Yep.
That is an American-made product. Did Mancini forget this? PlayPal dolls were not manufactured in Japan. They were made in the States. So he should have a made in the USA label if he was going to have any label.
Right.
Now, I hear you. Some critics are going to say, but Justin, Tiffany had changed Chucky's body parts in 4, and remember his arm got blown off. So maybe she used a doll arm that would say made in Japan. Okay, fair enough. Except that's not that doll.
Right.
This is a prop doll. So why does that prop doll coincidence? Remember, it's not actually Chucky's body. So even if it didn't say made in USA, why does it say, why did I have the bowl, Bart? Why did I have the bowl?
Because the props were made in Japan.
But yeah, right. For the actual
for
film.
the movie.
Yeah,
but-
not the meta movie,
Yeah.
for the actual movie. So why would he have that? He shouldn't have that stamp. Why can Glenn speak Japanese? Because he has that stamp.
And even if Glenn is going to have a stamp, his actual doll parents were still made in the USA, so he would have the USA stamp. Like,
fuck you.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all wrong.
It's all wrong. Yeah.
It's dumb. My last continuity issue. In the previous entry, Chucky point blank says to Tiffany, what is the whole catalyst of the, like, at its core, what is Bride of Chucky? Really? What kind of movie is it? Well, no, I know.
What do I think
but
it is?
what do they do? It's a, like, really, what is it? What kind of movie?
Driving.
Yeah, it's a road trip film.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand what you were getting at. Yeah, that's the whole premise of what drives the plot from A
it's
to
a
B.
road trip,
Yeah.
right? And why do they have to go on the road trip? Because Chucky tells Tiffany right at the beginning, he's like, we need this heart of Damballa. It's buried in my thing. And Tiffany's like, well, let's go get it. And Chuck's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Except we're dolls. How are we going to do that? Like, no, you can't just walk around as animated dolls. And he point blank says, he's like, what are we going to do? Drive a car? I'll work the wheel and you'll work the pedal?
All right, let's go.
Oh, sure. I'll steer and you can work the pedals. We're dolls, you dope!
Oh my god, what are we gonna do?
So they point blank established in the previous entry that won't work.
That sounds ridiculous. Yeah.
And yet, in this movie, Glenn and Chucky go on a little road trip in Redman's car and do exactly what Chucky said wouldn't work in the previous entry. So they just immediately forgot that.
That's character development. They're getting.
Oh, man, this movie sucks shit. God, I don't think anyone defends this, though. I'll say this, like, sometimes I'm wrong about, like, not wrong, I shouldn't use that word, but, like, sometimes my pick goes against what the majority think.
Yep.
Like Wes Craven's New Nightmare, most people like that. You're more on the side of the majority. I'm more in the minority on that one. Pretty certain Seed is most people groan at that one.
What I'm surprised, though, is that you have Seed so low, but you've got Bride so high.
Because Bride, to me, is Elm Street 5. It's still got enough good in it that I can see the good. And
Top
again,
three,
I talk about the importance of Tiffany. I think it is important to the series moving forward. And I like Tiffany. I think Tiffany's a good addition. And there's things I don't like in the other ones. I think you're going to be surprised by my next pick. Can we move on? Or do you, more dunk?
I got a few Dunkin' points.
Dunk away, sir. Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm like, these movies really aren't about Chucky anymore. I mean, I think we've already kind of covered that, which is interesting because now they've gone to the name Chucky instead of Child's Play, right? So
we didn't mention that. So yeah, Bride is the beginning of the Chucky.
Yeah.
They're started calling them Chucky now. They're no longer called Child's Play.
The wheels have fallen off. You know what? Good. You can't use the Child's Play name anymore.
You don't deserve it.
Yeah. Whatever cachet that had, you don't deserve it. You had
2 at 5 and 3 at 4.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
there's only 2 openings left. Okay.
The Glenn Chucky battle was horrendous. Glenn does awful marionette kung fu. I'm like this.
It's so bad.
I'm like this reminds me of Team America World Police, but Team
Yeah.
America did it better because
No, but it was meant to be ironic.
They were just in on the joke.
That was in on
right?
the joke,
This
right, yeah.
was not. Either
No.
they were trying to be funny and knew it looked stupid, or they weren't aware.
They were being earnest.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
And I'm like,
yeah.
oh.
The whole how Chucky dies.
Yeah.
Glenn chops him up with an axe.
Right.
And then, what do you think of the ending? The ending can suck my dick. It's so undeserved. So Chucky gets killed because he attacks Tiffany, and Glenn is more attached to Tiffany than he is his father. And then he kills his father, and Tiffany is successful and takes over Jennifer Tilly's body. And from this point on, in the world of Chucky, Jennifer Tilly is Tiffany Valentine, Charles Lee Ray's fiance.
Yeah.
I want to be clear about that.
Yeah.
Anytime you see Jennifer Tilly,
She is now possessed.
It is possessed Jennifer Tilly. It is not. It is Tiffany. Jennifer Tilly is Tiffany.
Which, who cares at this point?
And then
Whatever.
and then I guess she put Glenn's body in a little boy.
And your newborn boy.
Yeah,
Yep.
because that's the end of the movie.
I have a note. So Tiffany installed herself into Jennifer Tilly, and Glenn installed himself into the newborn boy. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Anyways, can we move on? Can we move along?